All right, let's talk about a song that kind of stumbled into being an anthem for a whole generation. And it did it by asking a really simple but powerful question. What happens when your private life gets put on a public pedestal for everyone to see?
Okay, so let's just jump right in with this line. It's the explosive chorus from the song Denkmal by the German band Wir sind Helden. Now, Denkmal, that just means monument. And believe me, this one line, it's the key to a rebellion that totally connected with millions of people.
So, a monument. For love? What does that even mean? This lyric, right here, it's the absolute heart of this whole story. And trust me, it goes way deeper than just being a catchy hook in a rock song.
You see, the song paints this picture of a couple, and their love, it's so celebrated, so idealized by everyone on the outside, that it's not even theirs anymore. It's become this stiff, lifeless statue, a monument. And the only way for them to save what they actually have, to make it real and breathe again, is to just smash it all to pieces.
So really, it all boils down to this incredibly powerful metaphor, right? What happens when everyone else's opinion traps something that's supposed to be just for you? It's basically a protest song against the pressure to be this perfect, shiny version of yourself that other people expect. And that could be in a relationship, sure, but it could also be your job, your art, your whole life.
Okay, so where does an idea this big and this rebellious even come from? You'd probably guess it was cooked up in some late-night rock and roll jam session, right? Well, the real story is way more surprising than that.
Get this. The song started out as a school assignment she didn't even want to do. The theme was literally monument, and the songwriter, Judith Holofernes, was dreading it, thinking it would be super boring. But then it clicked. She started thinking about her own relationship, one that everyone around her thought was perfect, rock solid. But on the inside, she knew it was falling apart. That feeling, that disconnect between perception and reality, that was the spark. And it grew into a hit so massive that it was still getting certified gold almost 20 years later. Incredible.
And that just shows you the incredible staying power of this song. Getting gold certification in 2023, that means over 150,000 copies sold in Germany alone. This clearly wasn't just some flash in the pan. Nope, this is a song that has really truly stuck with people for a long, long time.
So, who were the people who created this anthem of rebellion? Let's meet the heroes behind the music.
The band was called Wir sind Helden, which fittingly enough translates to We Are Heroes. They got together back in 2000, and this was the lineup, with Judith Holofernes leading the charge on vocals and lyrics.
And yeah, that name was partly a nod to David Bowie's iconic song Heroes. They actually met at a pop music workshop in Hamburg and built their audience from the ground up. I'm talking real, old-school guerrilla marketing stuff, hand-painting their own t-shirts, handing out stickers. They created a genuine grassroots movement before any big label even knew who they were.
Now, this is important. Wir sind Helden didn't just have one hit song. They were a total game changer. They basically defined the sound for a whole new era of German music, precisely because they refused to sound like everybody else.
Just look at the difference. Mainstream pop was all about love, heartbreak, and partying. Meanwhile, Wir sind Helden were tackling big ideas. They were writing these super witty, sharp lyrics that called out consumerism in their song Guten Tag, and even took shots at the music industry itself. They basically made it cool to be smart and critical in pop music.
And because they were so different, they ended up at the forefront of this whole movement that critics started calling the new German wave. What they did was they blew the doors wide open for a whole new generation of German bands to sing in their own language about things that actually mattered and to be incredibly popular for doing it.
So, here's the ultimate irony, right? What happens when the band that wrote the definitive song about the dangers of becoming a monument becomes a massive monument themselves? This is where the story takes a fascinating turn.
And make no mistake, their success was absolutely massive. I mean, look at this. All 4 of their studio albums were huge hits. They were constantly hitting #1 or 2 on the charts in Germany and Austria. They were pretty much on top of the world. And then they stopped, in a move that honestly feels like it was lifted straight from their own song. At the absolute peak of their success, they just walked away, an indefinite hiatus.
In their farewell message, they talked about how it was becoming an ever more impossible undertaking. The practical stuff, members living far apart, starting families, and just the general signs of wear and tear that come with that life. But really, what they were saying was, the pressure of maintaining the monument had become too much. They chose their real lives over the pedestal.
And that leaves us with this incredible, thought-provoking ending. The story of Denkmal isn't just a song, it's literally the story of the band. They wrote the playbook on how to tear down a monument. And then, when they found themselves turned into one, they actually had the courage to pick up the sledgehammer themselves. Which really makes you think, doesn't it? What does it really mean to find success on your own terms?